Nintendo.
Hey YouTube, this is episode 2 of Games, Gear, and Gadgets. What's going on with the Animal Crossing franchise? I'd like to speak a little bit about that. It's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, to be honest, and it's been a little bit since we've had a new game. Sure, we've gotten the Amiibo Festival and Happy Home Designer, but we haven't gotten a brand new game since the 3DS release of New Leaf, and that was back in 2013. Well, this is an extraordinarily long wait. It feels like it's about time to get a new game. Let's put it in perspective. The longest wait was between City Folk and New Leaf, and that was 1667 days, about 4.5 years between those two games. The shortest wait was between Wild World and New Leaf. Between Wild World and City Folk, and that was 1,078 days, and that was about a little less than 3 years. So we're right within that sweet spot. We're kind of expecting a new game. A new game's probably coming soon, but maybe not too soon. Clearly, the Animal Crossing team has been working very hard to patch in that Amiibo functionality, which it just launched the Welcome Amiibo update early November 2016. So when are we going to expect the new game to come out? Well, there's a couple features here, and there's a couple factors here. Number one is the platform or the console. It's most likely going to be on the Nintendo Switch at this point. They're going to need to use their popular intellectual property to push the console. And Animal Crossing is popular, there's no doubt. Like, New Leaf is one of the best sellers on the 3DS. Let me give you a quote from a 2014 article from Animal Crossing producer Katsuya Eguchi. This was a Polygon article. He said, "If we were to create an Animal Crossing game for a home console, I think we would really have to invent a style that's suitable for the platform." So it sounds like they're kind of tired of the current Animal Crossing format, and they think it best works on handhelds. Well, that's a good thing for the Switch, I think. Those current concerns kind of go out the window with the Switch. Given that it's a hybrid console, people will be playing it on the go, just like the 3DS, just like any other handheld console. They're also going to be playing it on their couch. There's no need to come up with a new playstyle. The Switch is a perfect home for Animal Crossing to live. That also means it won't be coming before March. We know that the Switch doesn't come out till March. So that's the first constraint, if you will. No sooner than March 2017. Number 2 is the holiday season. It's no secret that if they're going to launch this year, in 2017, they're going to want to launch before Christmas and before the holiday shopping happens. That's when most people are going to go out and get their games. If you miss that by a month or 2 months, basically all of these other games are going to have been released in that time period and sold for Christmas. And if you miss that, it's going to hurt the sales. So you expect them, if they're going to be releasing this year, it's going to be before Christmas 2017. Number 3, in-game events. Animal Crossing is a game that's based on a real-time clock and calendar. That's the main appeal, right? So they try to release their games, I think, at appropriate times of year, or to say times of year where a lot of stuff's going on in-game. What I'm thinking is probably not during the winter, not during December, actually. Maybe it's just me, but I've actually played Animal Crossing for the last 14 years, and December is probably the worst time to play the game. December, January, February. I can say that without a doubt. There is almost nothing to do. There are literally no bugs to catch, maybe like 2 bugs in the first game. They've improved it a little, but most of the bugs come out the rest of the year, spring through fall. The majority of fish are also not available in winter, so that's a concern. And really, that's like the main kickoff point for the game, right? That's like the only way to make money early on is by catching fish or bugs and selling them. So if you start in December, you're at a huge disadvantage, in my opinion. A lot of the big-time, valuable fish and bugs can't be caught until later, which means you're going to have a hard time paying off that first mortgage and upgrading that house. So that's not a good thing, really. You don't want people to be in that slow type of starting gameplay, and it's true. A lot of people are put off from the series by the way it starts so slowly. So I'm kind of thinking that they're going to not launch during winter, and they're going to launch earlier. They've launched in November, December, September, and June so far. Those are the 4 different games launched at those time periods. I think they're launching either late September or early October 2017 for this new game, and I think it's going to be on the Switch. So just before we wrap this up, I just want to point out 3 things about the game that I really think should be, or rather need to be changed going into this version. you got to make the towns bigger. You got to make them big again. Towns on the GameCube game had 16 villagers and 30 acres. That's a 6x5 town in acreage, and 16 villagers, right? New Leaf is a 5x4 town, which is 20 acres, and only 10 villagers, which is much less. What kept me coming back to the originals was the size. You know, the villagers would move in and out, but there was always enough villagers where you had your favorites and you had the guys you didn't like. With the new game, you know, you're kind of concerned, like if one guy moves out, it basically ruins your town potentially. You know, it's hard to keep, you know, your favorite guys from moving out. And I guess they're sort of fixing that with the amiibo cards and whatnot, but it's still kind of a crapshoot. So I would prefer to have bigger towns and more villagers, just like the GameCube. And even the Wii wasn't as large as the GameCube game, which was kind of surprising, but it needs to be bigger. Number 2, get rid of the grass erosion. It's kind of ridiculous. They introduced that with City Folk, and it was a disaster, total disaster. And then they thought they sort of improved it with New Leaf, but even if it works well, I just don't see the benefit. Having these paths going around your town is kind of useless. You kind of know where everything is. What do you need these paths for, right? Like, I think if you want to make the paths, you should make it a feature, something that you choose, like, oh, I want to put a path here. It shouldn't be based on where you walk the most. Like, grass erosion, terrible idea. Take it out, please. And number 3, please add more non-town locations. Make a bigger city, a much larger city, and make it with real online player interaction. So, say you get on a train, you go to the city, make it a large open environment with people from, you know, connecting from their own consoles, and make it so you can interact with them. Make it more fun to play online. Right now, the system of having to pair up with someone on game FAQs, find their friend code, is ridiculous. It's not something that's going to work in 2017, where people are used to just logging on, connecting to PlayStation Network, or connecting to Xbox Live and playing a game with random people. Most likely, you're not going to have a ton of friends that have this game, to be honest. Like, it's popular, but it's not that popular. So most of the friends you're going to find, you're going to be trying to hook up with people online, and really, it's kind of a disaster in terms of linking up the friend codes and all that. Make it open, make it random, make it easy, and make it fun. So those are 3 things I think that would really help this game series a bit to move into the future. Like the series creator said, you don't want it to get stale. And that's going to happen if you don't start adding new features, but I don't think just like dumping new furniture and new villagers is really an improvement to the game. They need to create it to be a little bit more interactive, more people coming together. They've tried it before, but quite frankly, it really hasn't been that good in terms of the online functionality. Animal Crossing Wild World was the second game to use Nintendo's Online Connect, the Wi-Fi connection, and still, it was kind of broken, right? There were hackers running all around. Everything's peer-to-peer, you know, so there's no enforcement of rules and cheating and hacking. They need to do better on that front, and they need to bring people together in a more centralized way. So those are my thoughts. Just to recap, October 2017, you're going to see it on the Switch, and it better have better online functionality. That's all I can say. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Like it if you liked it. If you loved it, subscribe. And if you didn't like it, well, I guess you could put a dislike there. But definitely leave a comment if you're interested in this game. Tell me your thoughts. What are your opinions? Maybe you have a suggestion as well. Hopefully Nintendo watches this video. I doubt it, but if they do, take these suggestions to heart. Longtime fan of the series here, and I'd like to see it move forward a little bit better. So that's Games, Gear, and Gadgets signing off.